If you love watching power, emotion, and a little bit of edge all collide in one moment, then what Cameron Brink just did at the Unrivaled tournament is exactly the kind of thing that sticks in their mind. This wasn't a playoff game, it wasn't a finals elimination, there was no trophy on the table, but the way Brink met Alanna Smith at the rim and erased that shot, and then the way she reacted afterward, made it feel like something much bigger than just a preseason possession. It was the kind of play that reminds you how seriously elite players take their craft, no matter what the setting is. Let's walk through what actually happened and why people are still talking about it. On the surface, it looked like a pretty standard drive and contest. Smith attacked, went up strong, doing exactly what you'd expect from a versatile forward who isn't afraid of contact. Brink rotated over, read the play perfectly, and exploded up to meet her in the air. But instead of a routine contest or a soft tip, Brink got all of it. She pinned it, smothered it, and made it absolutely clear that nothing easy was happening at her basket. The result wasn't just a block, it was a statement. What elevated the moment was everything that came right after the swat. Brink didn't just jog away or tap a teammate's hand. She landed, held her ground, and let all that adrenaline flood through her body language and her face. The intensity was obvious, the look, the energy, the way she carried herself immediately afterward. It was one of those "I'm here and you're not scoring on me" reactions that you usually see in games with rings on the line. In a lot of other preseason situations, players would treat a play like that as just another rep. Here, it turned into an emotional spike that changed the tone of the whole game. Everyone in the gym felt it. Even through a camera, you could feel the shift. And you could tell it wasn't just for show. It was a real emotional release there. For a defender like Brink, blocks aren't just stats, they're momentum swings and identity pieces. That one play sealed the message that she was going to protect the rim at all costs, no matter what the scoreboard or schedule said. What makes this even more interesting is Alanna Smith's role in it. A lot of players, when they get blocked that violently, especially in a preseason environment, might hang their head or get a little rattled. Smith did the opposite. She didn't shrink from the moment. She didn't start avoiding the point. If anything, it added fuel. She's built a reputation on toughness, resilience, and a willingness to battle physically, and that block didn't change that. It fed into it. That's why people immediately started whispering about a budding rivalry. There was no need for obvious trash talk or pushing and shoving. You had two high-level pros, both competitive to their core, refusing to give an inch. Brink was determined to send a message on defense. Smith was just as determined not to be intimidated. That alone is enough to create tension that feels personal, even if neither of them says a word about it. This is exactly the kind of thing that tournaments like Unrivaled are bringing to the surface. On paper, you'd label Unrivaled as a development-focused event. It's designed for sharpening skills, experimenting, staying in rhythm, and building chemistry with other pros in a controlled environment. You don't have the same official standings, playoff brackets, or championship banners on the line. What you do have is pride, and a lot of it. That's what makes moments like Brink's blocks stand out so much. They show you what happens when you put this level of talent in one gym and tell them to play. No one wants to be embarrassed. No one wants to be outworked. Even when the setting is technically preseason, the competitiveness never really drops, and one dramatic play can instantly raise the temperature for everyone on the court. And it's a huge reminder of where the WNBA is right now as a culture. Fans want access. They want to see the stars in different environments, not just in official league games. They want to feel like they're getting closer looks at their personalities, their emotional reactions, their rivalries, their swagger. Platforms like Unrivaled are delivering exactly that. The cameras are closer, the settings are more intimate, and that means every major play and every reaction gets magnified. Cameron Brink has always had that defensive edge to her game. She's long, she's active, and she takes pride in protecting the paint. Plays like this are a window into how she's wired. A lot of offensive stars talk about getting in a rhythm when their shots are falling. For a shot blocker, a massive rejection like that is the same kind of spark. It's a jolt of confidence, not just for her, but for everyone playing behind her. You could see it after the block. Teammates feed off that energy. Offenses start having second thoughts about attacking the rim. Suddenly, drives become pull-ups, finishes become kickouts. One emphatic stop changes the math in everyone's head. And then there's the other side of the equation, how Alanna Smith used it. Smith has carved out her place in the league as someone who doesn't flinch. She spaces the floor, she runs, she bangs, and she keeps coming. Getting blocked like that could have turned into a stay away from the paint signal. Instead, watching her afterward, it looked more like she took it as a direct challenge. Plays like that can light a fire under a competitor. It's not just humiliation, it's motivation.
That's how rivalries are born in today's game. It doesn't always come from some epic playoff series that goes 7 games. Sometimes it comes from one possession in an off-season run that both players remember. The next time they see each other, whether it's in a WNBA regular season game, a playoff matchup, or another showcase tournament, that file is still there. Brink will remember sending that shot back. Smith will remember that feeling in the air. Both will want to win the next round. And fans absolutely love this stuff. Every highlight of that block that hit social media came with people breaking down more than just the play. They were talking about Brink's reaction, Smith's response, the tension, the energy of unrivaled as a concept. That's modern basketball culture. One clip, a few seconds long, can turn into a whole conversation about mindset, ego, toughness, and hierarchy. It's also part of how the WNBA continues to grow its footprint. For years, people complained that they didn't see enough of the league's personalities. They'd get the games, but not always the behind-the-scenes energy that makes fans feel connected. Now, between these off-season tournaments, more coverage, and more online clips, people are finally seeing what the players bring emotionally, not just technically. Brink's block and everything around it is a perfect example of that shift. In a traditional preseason scrimmage, you might not get cameras tight enough or angles sharp enough to really catch the nuances of the moment. The way she tracked the ball, the expression after the block, the subtle body language from both players after the whistle. In Unrivaled's environment, it's all there. You're practically in the huddle with them. It also makes you think about what this means going into the next WNBA season. These tournaments aren't just about keeping in shape, they're about building confidence and setting a tone. A play like that tells everyone watching, opponents, coaches, teammates, fans, that Brink is not here to just ease her way into the pro level. She is here to be a defensive problem, to establish a presence, to change games with physicality and emotion, not just technique. For Smith, treating that moment as fuel, not as something that breaks her, sends a message of its own. It says she's going to keep attacking, keep mixing it up, and keep accepting every challenge head-on. That mindset is exactly what you want if you're trying to elevate your standing in a league full of stars. From a bigger picture perspective, it's moments like these that make people say, okay, something's happening here. The idea of an off-season rivalry is suddenly real. The idea that a block in a developmental tournament can become the seed of a storyline that follows both players into future WNBA matchups is very real. And that's what keeps fans plugged in year-round. They're not just tuning in from May to September anymore. They're following their favorite players into events like Unrivaled, catching these flashes of intensity, and then carrying those images with them into the regular season. When the next official Brink versus Smith matchup comes around, don't be surprised if the broadcast runs that block before tip-off. Don't be surprised if social feeds are full of people saying, "Remember what happened in Unrivaled?" That's how you build layers to the product. That's how you make every new meeting mean a little bit more than just another game. What happened at the rim in that tournament might not show up in any official WNBA box score, but it's already part of the unofficial history that fans and players keep in their heads. In the end, that's what stands out most about the moment. In a setting where nobody theoretically needs to go that hard, Cameron Brink still chased down the play and sent a loud message. Alanna Smith met that message with resilience instead of retreat, and everyone watching got a reminder that for these women, competition is never casual. No banners, no official records, no playoff seedings, just pride, reputation, and the knowledge that every possession is a chance to say something about who you are as a player. If this is the kind of energy showing up in a tournament built around development and chemistry, imagine what's coming when the games that count are back on the schedule.